Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I have 3 topics to discuss in this latest Moon Lambo hot jam. First, I'll be highlighting a rather cryptic message from one of the largest and oldest exchanges in the world of crypto. I'll show you what they put out, and there's, as a result of it, and you'll see why. Lots of speculation within the Xrp community as to what the hell it actually means. There's also this headline from You Today. XRP has no utility, Arca executive says. And I got a lot to say about this. This is astonishing to me. How can you possibly, in the year 2025, make such a statement about XRP with a straight face when XRP is one of the most useful cryptocurrencies in existence? It just works. And it's so fascinating, too. The types of people that'll say this will say Bitcoin has utility because it's a store of value, but XRP, which can do everything that Bitcoin does literally from a utility perspective, XRP just doesn't for some reason. And then illustrating just how ridiculous that is even further, it is the case that Bitcoin can't do everything that XRP can do from a utility perspective. But again, the inverse, XRP can do everything Bitcoin. It's just astonishing. So I'll share with you what this numbnut's saying. Then there's also this headline from the Crypto Basic. I want to touch on this briefly. No XRP as Ripple to use RLUSD in hidden road deal for 300 financial institutions. Oh, okay. So what, XRP's just kicked to the curb? Well, that's what some people are concerned about. And that absolutely is not the case, and I'll explain why. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here is the cryptic message on your screen. It comes from BitMEX. Here you can see they're self-described as the world's leading cryptocurrency derivatives exchange since 2014. And here's what they wrote on social media platform X. Keep your eyes peeled. We have some news that's definitely going to have a ripple effect on the market. And they tagged Ripple. This is the official Ripple X account, 3.1 million followers. So there's been a lot of speculation as to what this might mean. And speculation's always fun, a little healthy speculation, nothing wrong with that. I saw one individual speculate that it could be the case that Ripple's buying BitMEX. And there could be a number of reasons that they might, in theory, be interested in doing that. Another guess was that there's going to be some sort of official partnership with Ripple as it pertains to utilizing XRP as a bridge currency with on-demand liquidity. A fair enough guess. And then there's also lots of guesses, and I'm going to guess that this is the one that's right. And as of the time I'm recording this, like, it's not been made known, so maybe by the time I get this published, you guys already know. But right now, they're still being cryptic about it. And I think the best guess that I've seen would be that they're just going to launch RLUSD on their platform, which isn't, like, that's good. That's anything like that, it will help to, in terms of long-term stability for long-term viability for XRP. Not exactly the most exciting news if that's the case, but hey, they got us talking about it. And it's on my channel now. But it is kind of interesting, given that this thing. By the way, they posted this on Saturday morning. It's already been seen 228,000 views, and that number is only going up. So there's a reason that I'm highlighting this. But who knows? Maybe we'll get surprised and it'll be something much more exciting than that. I'm not going to hold my breath for it, but we'll see. All right, so how about this dipshit over at Arca? Like, look at this headline. XRP has no utility, Arca exec says. How is this a real human? I sit here thinking, there's so many ways you can find out about how XRP actually does stuff and makes business models possible that otherwise wouldn't be. A really good way to do that too? It would be to look at all of the amicus briefs that were filed in the SEC v. Ripple case, because there were close to, 15 amicus briefs roughly in support of Ripple. And there are all sorts of businesses utilizing XRP that we didn't know about, we otherwise wouldn't have known about, but they were concerned about, if there's a negative consequence or negative outcome in the case, there could have been a negative consequence for them. So they're interested third parties, and so they filed amicus briefs highlighting why it's important to them, whatever the outcome would be, and how they're using XRP. Multiple companies, like TapJets, for example, solve what they call the Friday night problem, private jets, where it's hard to get, I know it's a rich people problem, but it's hard to get funny. Like if on a whim you want to fly out to wherever the hell, domestic flights, $60,000, international flights could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, if you didn't ahead of time get the money flowing, you literally can't pay for it. Crypto solved that problem because markets are 24/7, 365. There's always liquidity flowing, and XRP is used for that. So right there, that's just one example. And then there's spin the bits, which makes it possible to, actually move Bitcoin in a way that's useful because you tokenize Bitcoin on the XRP ledger, and then it moves as fast as XRP as a result. So you can use layer 1 technology, which is the XRP ledger, as though it were layer 2 technology to make Bitcoin work, because Bitcoin is the pet rock of crypto and it can't on layer 1. Anyway, piece reads as follows. Jeff Dorman, chief investment officer of crypto asset management firm Arca, has opined that the Ripple-linked XRP cryptocurrency actually has, and this is funny too, check this out, XRP cryptocurrency actually has no use case despite being one of the biggest stable coins. I love this. Oh, freaking crypto media. It's a bunch of C students writing stuff on the Webernets. That's what it is. Maybe a C- here. XRP is a stable coin? Get the hell out of here. Like, sometimes I wonder, do these people just write stuff and just like not read it, like, I typed it with my fat little fingers, and then they just like upload it without spell checking, it just doesn't matter. I think that's what they do, actually. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, piece continues. In fact, Dorman has disparagingly described the controversial altcoin as a meme coin. That's right, it's a meme coin, just like Doge. However, the social value associated with the cryptocurrency has become so large that XRP may add utility to Ripple USD, RLUSD, the stablecoin introduced in March, and financial value, such as making acquisitions. Bitwise president Teddy Fusaro argued that Ripple could buy a lot of companies with its massive XRP holdings that are currently worth more than $90 billion. Dorman claims that qualifying social value is impossible, even though it is definitely real. Here's a quote. Social value is real, but quantifying that value is impossible. Utility value is a little easier to measure, but still hard. When a token is useful, you can estimate how much it's worth to use and therefore estimate demand. Folks, that's absolutely not true. How are people in positions of power that are supposed to be respected positions saying such stupid things? How are there such bad takes out there? Thank God I have my channel so I can correct this bullshit. So, and I've seen this argument made many times. Like, I'm thinking of this. I can't remember the guy's last name. He's with I think it's Multicoin Capital. Is that the name of the firm? Tushar Jain, something like Tushar something or other. That dipshit back in like 2018. He's like, well, XRP price is never going to go up and it's never going to be worth much because it's too fast. So if you're using XRP to bridge currencies, it's just so fast you don't need that much. Therefore, the price doesn't go up. And I'm like, you damn idiot stick. You are not, that is not how humans who speculate on assets act in the real world. If they find that a coin is useful, like XRP, and they want to diversify their overall portfolios and jump into crypto, they're going to want to invest in those coins that actually do stuff because they'll have confidence that the coins that are functionally useful are not going to go the way of the dodo, my favorite extinct avian creature. Duh, it's so freaking obvious. So money can pour in. It has nothing to do with how fast XRP is. And it's so funny, he tried to spin it like XRP is so fast and Bitcoin's not, and they're spinning the fastness and cheapness of XRP per transaction as a negative. And so here, when they're talking about he said again here, when a token is useful, you can estimate how much it's worth to use and therefore estimate demand. Nope, no, you can't. You can't look at how much utility there is and how much transactions are used for quote unquote utility and then determine how much demand there's going to be for it. That's not how humans behave. As it turns out, when there's an alt season, the whole market goes and XRP just happens to be part of that. And those coins that are functionally useful, yeah, they're going to attract more attention over the long haul. That's certainly true. But it has to do with how risk on assets like crypto and stocks get treated. How does this guy not know this? Holy hell. So look, here's the actual post. This is the one from Jeff Dorman, the guy over at Arca. He wrote here again, so it's XRP is a $150 billion meme coin. Oh, what an idiot. The token has no financial or utility value and yet rose to $150 billion in market cap purely on social value. But that social value became so large that XRP may add utility, RLUSD, and financial value, e.g. buying circle in the future. So he's saying, and so he's conflating XRP with Ripple. He says XRP doesn't have utility, but it might in the future because XRP might buy Circle. That doesn't make any sense. XRP is not Ripple, you idiot stick. What is functionally wrong with that applesauce brain? What is going on up there in that noggin? Is there anything between them 2 ears? Jesus Christ. And so RLUSD, obviously, stablecoins are useful, and he's acknowledging that here. So he's saying XRP doesn't have utility, but in the same sentence he says, but RLUSD will add utility. But what do you mean will in the future? It already exists right now. And you know what? RLUSD cannot exist on the XRP ledger without, drum roll please, XRP. And for every single transaction, XRP is required. Basically, as it functions as a gas token for that particular use case. XRP is literally required. So he's citing that RLUSD will be useful in the future. He seems to not know that that requires XRP, which means XRP is useful. And you know what else on top of all of this? So it's stupid. So again, he didn't pay attention to the amicus brief, so he didn't know that, he doesn't know there's a bunch of coins using it. And that's outside of XRP as a bridge currency. So I'd love to hear the argument how Ripple's customers utilizing XRP as a bridge currency aren't actually getting anything useful out of that. I'd love to know. I want to talk to the customers because they're spending money. They got contracts with Ripple utilizing XRP as a bridge currency. They think it's helping them. Please, Jeff Dorman, talk to Ripple's customers and explain to them why, even though they think XRP is making their business model possible and helping them, that it's actually not. Can you please put forth that argument? I'd love to hear it. I'm all ears. And then on top of that, though, so there's that. There's the amicus brief. So you know what else he could do? He could have used his fat little fingers to type up what I typed on the screen here. You know what I Googled? Does XRP have utility? And you know what pops up instantly? An AI overview. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the answer is yes, XRP has utility. And they go into site as a bridge currency. And so that's that all-encompassing, and you can talk about which use cases are most important. I mean, even just XRP being used as payments. You could, like, some people do use XRP to buy stuff. That's utility too. You can use it to stream money. Isn't that useful? I think yes. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do. And you can tokenize stuff. But you can use this. This is called the internet, Jeff. And you can click on links to find out what XRP is actually used for by people and businesses. It is not hard. This guy has no shit. How is he not ridiculously embarrassed? A guy in that position with this firm Arca, which is an investment firm offering institutional caliber products in the digital asset space. That's how they self-describe on X. How are they not ashamed? How are they not embarrassed? Why hasn't this tweet been deleted yet? It doesn't make any damn sense. These people are insufferable. They have XRP derangement syndrome. That's what this is. This is another case of XRP derangement syndrome, and you hate to see it. And then we have this. I'm going to be brief on this. This is the headline from Crypto Basic. The Crypto Basic. No XRP as Ripple to use RLUSD in Hidden Road deal for 300 financial institutions. Ripple's latest blog post about RLUSD's use case in the Hidden Road setup has triggered concerns among XRP proponents questioning the coin's role in the deal. On Tuesday, Ripple published a blog post highlighting the use case of stablecoins like RLUSD. The San Francisco-based payments company emphasized that stablecoins bridge the gap between DeFi and TradFi. The blog post further highlighted RLUSD's role in the Hidden Road deal. Recall that Ripple reached an agreement with Hidden Road to acquire the prime broker for $1.25 billion. In its recent blog post, Ripple stated that Hidden Road, which clears over $3 trillion for 300 financial institutions annually, will leverage RLUSD as a collateral asset across its prime brokerage platform. Meanwhile, part of the deal would see Hidden Road transition its post-trade activities onto XRPL, the XRP ledger, XRP's underlying blockchain, allowing it to reduce costs. With XRPL handling Hidden Road's post-trades, the prime broker would leverage XRP to pay all post-trade transaction fees. You guys read that, right? The prime broker would leverage XRP to pay all post-trade transaction fees. Keep that tucked away in your head. There's more. The company initially disclosed this in April when it announced the Hidden Road acquisition. At the time, the disclosure elicited major controversy, with some community members expressing concerns about the company sidelining XRP. This is ridiculous. I remember when, I guess it was April of last year, Ripple announced they were going to launch their own stablecoin. And people are saying, oh, they're abandoning XRP. No, you idiots. It's because XRP, although it's still used as a bridge currency in every corridor outside of the United States, because of the injunction in the United States with the SEC nonsense, any corridor touching the United States cannot use XRP. And so they were using Tether. So launching their own coin makes more sense. They control it. And it's a whole other business model for them anyway. There's all sorts of reasons. But that's great for XRP because XRP is required for RLUSD to exist. And so right here, these concerns have resurfaced, with Ripple reiterating that Hidden Road will use RLUSD as a collateral asset across its platform. Here's what you folks are missing here. If you're concerned about that, again, and I just said it a minute ago, XRP is required for that to happen. What do you not understand? This is a negative? Because they choose to use a stable coin because they want something that's always worth the same amount for this particular use case? XRP is still required for that to happen, though. This is stupid. And we don't know exactly. So they haven't revealed exactly what all transactions, every single thing they're going to do with this. So they can still use XRP in this particular, like, we'll have to wait to hear specifics from them. But to throw it out already, like, that might be too soon. But even if so, again, XRP is still used here. I just don't understand people bitching up the sword. I feel like it's the same type of argument that happened in April of last year when the stablecoin was announced. No, XRP is required. This is great. This ensures this ensures the long-term viability of XRP and the XRP ledger. It increases the total value locked on the ledger, which is a key metric. Those coins that have the most total value locked are the coins that were most likely to hit new all-time highs last market cycle. So this is great stuff. This isn't something to be upset about. This is good. Anyway, now you can tell me in the comment section why I'm wrong, even though I'm not. All right, I'm going to wrap up here, though. Thank you for stopping by, my friends. I do appreciate the support. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.